here? Seriously. Yeah, good morning. How is everyone this morning? Welcome to another crazy day in this world. I mean, crazy. And if we thought it couldn't get any crazier, well, the butcher's dead. So that's just a little bit of news from Iran. The ruler of Iran died in a helicopter crash. And so did the Minister of Foreign Affairs also, which is quite interesting. But anyways, I digress. Haven't even started. I'm putting my lipstick on. Welcome, everyone. And another thing. Happy birthday, Geminis. I hear the vice is more radical. Yeah, it's um I've been listening. I listened to Tulsi TV, and he's Iranian, whose mother immigrated to Great Britain, and I like listening to him because he gives you more of the ins and outs of the whole thing, and just I mean, his okay. They're going to be mourning for 5 days instead of 3 days right now in Iran, and the main reason is that they have to get control of the people. There's only out of 88 million people that are living there, about 4 million that are actually supporting the regime, and that's only because they're friends and family of the regime. It may be his son who's going to take over. We'll see. He's supposed to be next in line, but they're supposed to hold elections, but they really don't have elections. Kind of like us now. But it's going to be interesting in how it's going to be taking part. Just 1 second. Come on. Out. How everything's going to partake. But I found that quite interesting because the moon being in Libra, as is all partake, the sun's going over the sun. Sorry, I have to get comfortable again. Mars is going over the North Node, coming up to Chiron. Sun ingresses into Gemini. It's bringing a lot of things to light, a lot more information to light for everything. There's a lot of layers on layers. And this is a true spirit. You got to be truth. Have spiritual patience with a lot of this because there's just so much unfolding. At this time, we had the president of Slovakia who was shot and 5 times in the stomach. I mean, that just happened a few days ago. And now this with Iran. So there's a lot of culmination of that's coming to light. Now, the thing is with this, this is where a lot of truth comes out. And this is where a lot of people, that are going to be coming forward. Now, the thing is with Iran back in the 70s, before 1979, when the butcher took over, or he was in charge of justice, and he'd hold 5-minute trials. And these 5-minute trials would be that you have 5 minutes to declare your innocence. And if he didn't like your voice of being innocent, you'd be dead. And then by the mid 80s, he became leader. And he's had cancer for, I don't know, 20 years. But, this is what took him out. Now, the helicopter was American, but it was it was a stolen American helicopter. I mean, I don't think they actually paid for the fucking thing. For them to go over where they went over, riding a helicopter seems... they said Israel right now has controlled the weather. So now the Jews control the weather, by the way, because, they are the chosen one. So they're blaming Israel for it. a lot of conspiracies are coming out because saying that they knew about it. They said he was dead before he was declared being dead. It's funny because the last shot, as I was listening to Tulsi TV, he was showing the last shot of the president in the plane, and they're talking about how dried up the water is and how barren the land is. And that's because since they've taken over, they literally have destroyed the country, right? Literally destroyed it. And a lot of the rivers in that have dried up because of their damming and other policies that they've done that have created a disruption in a country that is extremely rich in so many ways, not only with minerals but agriculturally. So this is going to be interesting. People were already uprising in they're setting off fireworks yesterday, the Iranian people, because they have been under such an oppressed government for so long that they are standing up. And my hearts go to them. It's the regime and how they want it to go. The guy who's going to be in there for the next 50 days, I think it is, or something like that. He looks like Shrek. He looks like Shrek. He is so ugly. Oh my God. It's like, why do these people look so fucking demonic? You look at him, you're just like, okay, there's something wrong. Does anybody else notice? So it's going to be interesting on what's going to be happening, at this time. Right now, there is Iranian Islamists causing chaos in London. With everything that's going on, you're going to hear a lot because of what to expect from Iran after a death of the president. I think you're going to hear they're going to shut their borders down. Mainstream media is probably not going to play half the shit that needs to be played on this. That which is very sad. And you're going to, I think the other reason why they didn't bring out the news as quickly as they did is because a lot of their henchmen were split, and they have to get into the certain cities to be able to control the people. Because there's a lot of people that are uprising. Now they're stating that there's going to be an election, and they have a parliament, which is kind of like a fake parliament, like the EU parliament, sort of token people all through there. And this does throw a huge wrench to what's happening in the Middle East, because Iran is the ones who give arms and that to the other people that start with an H, which I can't say on this platform. And they fund them. And they fund other countries with baddies that don't want anybody except them to be in the country. Because Iran used to be filled with Jews and Christians, and it was a thriving in the 60s and 70s. It was thriving. It was doing very well. And women could wear whatever they wanted to wear. And now they cannot. They can't wear anything that they want to wear. They have to wear a certain garb and act a certain way. And women basically don't have much rights to do anything. But we'll see as things unfold. But it is going to get a little messy. And, as I look at the astrology and, looking at the outside world is going to get crazy. It's just going to get crazy. The pictures from the 60s and 70s are crazy of Iran. Yeah, they are. They are. But the thing is, I'm not saying it was perfect back then. Of course, they had problems, they had issues, and the whole bit. But the workings of it and the workings of it was a lot better. Now, a lot of things, political came into being. It could be anywhere in America. Yeah. I mean, the dress that the women were wearing and the mini skirts and the hair and the whole bit. And, it was interesting. So as I'm looking at the astrology, and it's showing me, especially as um, the sun or the moon goes into Scorpio later on today. Scorpio is fate. It's fated. The things that happen, they're fated. They're predetermined. It's a predetermined reason that of why things are unfolding the way that they're unfolding. There's a predetermined reason why things unfold in our lives the way that they unfold. And a lot of people don't like that answer. They don't want to hear that answer because they want to feel like they have totally 100% control over their whole life. And I'm going to say, not really. A lot of things in our life are fated in the things that we do. And it's through our conscious choices that we make that can either escalate them in some way. Now, when I say that too, within the fated energy, and especially the Scorpio fated energy, because it's there to teach you. It's there because you came upon this earth walk to learn something, and whatever that is to learn. And are you going to step into that learning, or are you going to turn your back on it and do something else? Do something that you might have done in the past life. That's your North Node. What were you doing in your past life? What wasn't, are you trying to go back into something that doesn't align with you in this lifetime, that you are trying to rise up to, your North Node? What are you trying to rise up to? What are you trying to ascend to, your rising sign? What are you trying to rise up to? And if you're trying to dismiss it or not walk towards it, then of course, yeah, things can get a little fucked up. I mean, even though it can get complicated, because there's some things in life that we have to learn. And I think we are in a world right now where we have to learn certain things again. In Iran right now, going back to them, it's the youth. It is the young people. It is the teenagers, because they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose at all. They don't give a fuck, because all they've known is despair. All they know is like, okay, you're gonna fucking kill me. You're gonna fucking kill me, kind of thing. So you're finding it's a lot of the younger people that are coming in and standing up to this. And it's not the ones that are on the ones that are on our university. If they talk to the young people in Iran, they get a totally different perspective of what the hell's going on and what they should be standing up for. And that's what you are seeing. So there's a great positiveness to this. There's a greatness to this. There's a youthfulness that comes in with this energy, because the sun in Gemini is youthful. It wants to learn. It's inquisitive. It wants to have the information, right? The thing is that it wants to have the information, but the thing is that we can't overanalyze it. I mean, Geminis can get a little bit analytical and a little bit too much in their head. And so with that, you have to come back down into the heart and allow yourself to come into the heart. This is a big transitional as the moon goes into Scorpio. And it is still going to be in a yod. Now, a yod is a finger of God. The yod is pointing at the moon. But where does it open up to? It is opening up, as it's in Libra, it's opening up to Jupiter and Pisces. And then it opens up to Saturn. No, to the sun and Pisces, and the sun and Neptune. So Neptune's still a huge part of this energy coming in. So it's a huge spiritual piece. And the moon is our internal core, our internal way. How are we guided? Are we listening to our eternal light? And Pisces, the Neptune is like trying to reach us to the pinnacle. It's at 29 degrees. So it's the pinnacle of how we are coming to ourselves in a spiritual way in this world. It is worldly, and coming to this worldly events. Now you're seeing as it's on a world, axis at 29 degrees. Same with Uranus, it's unexpected turns of events. How are things are going to be turning within our world? How are things going to be disrupted within our world spiritually? And how are we going to be? How are we standing within our lights as all of this is unfolding for us? And not to get distracted with the outside world, because it's just going to get crazier. I just saw a TikTok of a girl in Saskatchewan, and she went to Safeway, and blueberries were 11.99 for a small pint. And I'm just like, holy shit. And she goes that, it's, yeah, Safeway's a little bit more expensive, but I'm going to say, yeah, they're all expensive. I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, and I was going to get Mateus I think was it root beer or something like that, and it was $3.59 for a small can of root beer for one at Shoppers. I went, hell no. It's just like, no. It's and I think it was for something for a bottle of water, which was crazy in itself. So I mean, yeah, it's going to things are going to just get more pressurized as we are coming into the summer. As things start to heat up, the world is going to start heating up, and we're going to start feeling it more within ourselves, and as we go. Now, the other part too is that another solar flare went off, but it wasn't pointed at the earth. But as this one point on the sun moves towards the center of the earth, the flare, by the time the full moon, we're going to have direct solar flares coming directly at the earth again. So the intensity of our nervous system being hit is going to be quite high in itself. So watching our nervous system, watching how we are reacting, I'm going to say it's just cranking up. It's just like this is all go crank, 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 and things are just going to crank up even more. So we got to put our ego aside and look at the precious and beautiful things that we do have going on in our life. And we are coming around a corner from 4.5 years. So we're coming around this corner after 4.5 years. Now, not saying everything is done over there, but coming around the corner of after 4.5 years, we are beginning to notice a lot more truth coming up. And that's what I said to people. I said, you got to wait. Sometimes, you want, it seems crazy. It seems like, oh, it's the be all end all. Oh my God, look at all the craziness that's going on. But just give it some time and have some faith that things are coming into the light. And that's very much where we are now. All of these craziness that's happening within the governments, within the election. I mean, our prime minister is going down to the United States to speak to the union, one of the biggest unions in Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh does huge trading with Canada. And the trades union are huge because it's the same union as it is in Canada. So when it comes to steel and the industrial stuff, I mean, we do huge. I mean, we are one of the biggest traders for them in the United States. And this is why did I bring this up? Because our prime minister is going down there to talk, and he might go and he might be meeting up with Trump, which would be interesting. I don't know if Trump really wants to meet with him, but we'll see. But we're finding that there's going to be some really crazy disruptions that are going to be coming up with everything, and getting people and getting countries to realize we got to be becoming more self-sufficient. And in becoming more self-sufficient, like if Canada becomes more self-sufficient, the United States becomes more self-sufficient, there's growing pains, because that means that you're going to have to pay a little bit more for things. Meaning, because we're not importing as much from other countries, which do things cheaply. We are coming back to saying, okay, we need to make our own. I mean, Canada used to make TVs. Zenith was the last one. And we were the top market for making, TVs. And but now electronics are like, they're not made here in Canada anymore. BlackBerry. I mean, it's from Nova Scotia, I believe. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. I always get those two confused. Sorry, anybody who lives there. But they the BlackBerry was one of the best phones ever made. I mean, it was hard. It was one of the hardest ones to hack and the whole bit. It had the best cryptic for when you're sending information to someone. That's why a lot of businesses used it for years, but it couldn't get on the market, right? Because it was just too good. It was just too good, and they didn't want it. But we have the know-how here in Canada. Now, how does that work with the astrology? It's just letting us know that things are going to be moving in a new direction for us, but there's a lot of growing pains in it all. And the growing pains are going to be like, people are not going to like it. Just like I said 4 years ago, people aren't going to like what's going to come forward, and there's an experiment, blah, 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 but just have patience. Things, if you ride this out, everything's going to be good. You're going to be okay. You're going to be better on the other side. You just have to trust in your light. Here we're coming to the same thing again in a little bit different way, but it's still coming into saying, trust in your inner light. Don't let yourself get led. Don't fall to the craziness. Don't fall to what's being shown out there. Regimes are going to fall. Things are going to get disruptive, but when they get disruptive and when they fall, that means there's going to be chaotic change. We have a prime minister right now that, weirdly enough, the other part too is that our prime minister is not changing our $20 bill till 2027 to the new king. I don't think that's going over too well, which is weird. Are they going to skip over King Charles? I mean, the King Charles, for a second, they didn't do too well. The one got beheaded. The second one, he was forced out of England, brought back by Lord, or the Earl of Montague, the Earl of Sandwich, back to England, and put back on the throne. But he was such an asshole and a drunkard and a womanizer to boot. So trying to put England back together again, Humpty Dumpty. All the king's horses and all the king's men can put Humpty Dumpty together again. And now we have King Charles III. Are they going to try and pass him over? Who knows, right? So this is where and especially with this youthfulness of the sun in Gemini, of coming into and saying, you know what, we got to stand in our light, and we'll get information and ideas, and the information and ideas and the new learnings are going to come forth, but we got to take them in and bring them into our heart. The thing in Iran, it's going to be crazy, and you're going to get a lot of speculations. You're going to get a lot of people out there who are thinking that they know certain things. The news is, I don't know if the news is going to cut. I mean, it's world news right now, but are they going to shut it down? I mean, we're not even hearing much about the prime minister or the president who got shot in Slovakia, and what's going on with him. Interesting enough. So there's a lot that's, here's another thing. The Rome just came out, the Pope just came out with about apparitions and spiritual, like UFOs and ghosts and stuff like that. I don't think they necessarily said, they just have that they are going to be looking at things more closely than they were before. And I mean, that's what they've, they sort of had some information about apparitions and stuff back in 79. Funny, a lot of things happened in 79. I think Chiron was leaving Aries at that time and going into Taurus because Chiron was in Aries in the 70s. So, anyways, I digress. Pluto is changing too. Pluto is going into Libra at that time. Ooh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of shit happening, and Saturn was there. Wow. So, a lot was happening in 79. A lot of changes and transformations were really happening during that time. I digress. I'm all over the place today. But the information things that are coming in, where was I? As I got into Chiron and everything. But yeah, the changes that are going to be coming in are going to be pretty crazy and erratic. And we really have to stay in our light. And you are going to be taunted. You are going to be pushed in so many different directions on what to think and how to be, and who's the bad guys and who's the good guys. And it's going to be pushed down our throat even stronger than it has been. And so Gemini, being a part of the media, Neptune is in control of the media. We're going to see so much coming out and information over the next 30 days. It's going to be nutters. That's all I got to say. It's going to be nutty with how much is going to be coming in. So, truth over time, right? So, positive mindset and keeping ourselves in a positive mindset, and not to get into the crazy abstract of things, and really watching where we have to have the confidence in doing the best, and watching our mental communications and not losing it. That's the other part too, is not losing it with everything. So, yeah, big blessed moments. I think, you got to push your ego aside, because there's some beautiful, precious, and beautiful energies that are coming in that are trying to bring us into a transformation and change, into enlightenment. But we really got to push the ego aside with this and not overthink everything as it comes through. So, change is here, and it's just going to get more disruptive. It's going to get more disruptive here in Canada. People are going to get very uneasy over the next several months. And as I said, Trudeau's not in a good spot. Even as he goes to the States, I don't think people like him in the States. They see what the shit that he's doing. And a lot of people think he's a dictator, which he is. But, going into the States is just not going to be they're going to try and make it rosy. That's what they're going to try and do, make it look good, but it's probably not going to look as good. That's what he'd like it to be. And if he does meet up with Trump, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because you could tell Trump has a way of doing things, and how he greets people. His handshakes are predetermined on how he really how he brings people in, because he's a handshaker. He brings people in, and sometimes he'll clap them twice or three times. Then you know that he really wants to connect with you. If you just like, yeah, okay, he doesn't give a fuck about you. So just those little nuances of how he acts and how he shows up is interesting. I mean, we all do it. We all have those little things that we do if we're really wanting to engage in somebody, and how we want to connect with people, to when we don't want to connect with somebody, or we're just feeling a little bit odd with somebody, how our body is a huge reactor to things. So, but don't isolate yourself. Make sure that you're getting out and connected with others, connecting with community, being, allowing yourself to share your wisdom, share with others. Kyle said if he is gonna get shot, the US would do it. No, he won't get shot. Sorry. And they would not know. Actually, the United States would not. I just got like an absolute no. Would not even try and touch a Canadian prime minister, because we are such close allies. That would just cause one of the biggest world uproars, that you might not like him, but you would not touch him. You would not touch him. That's not in his chart anyways, but yeah, no. Yeah, no. the amount of security that'll be around him from not only our security, I mean, his security has upped here in Canada, but his security in the United States is going to be just as tight too, because they will make sure that there's extra. So, and yeah, and our embassy is working very close with the American embassy as this is happening. So, I do have insights with certain people that send me information. It's quite interesting sometimes. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, just hang on to your horses. Things are going to take some new roads. So, a couple things. Those who are registered with my Reiki, I sent out an information package for you. Your link will be sent later on this week. And if you are still wanting to join me for Reiki, definitely let me know. I do have a spot left for level 1. And it is going to, and I did send out the my manual. I sent out my manual for level 1 Reiki today as well. And what else? Oh, moon readings are coming out tomorrow. The full moon is on Wednesday. So moon readings are going to be sent out tomorrow. If you're wanting a moon reading for this full moon, definitely let me know and I will put you on the list. They're $40. And there you go. Yeah. So welcome to a fabulous week. Oh, let's pull cards. I want to pull cards out of a deck I haven't pulled for a while. Let me see. Where's a deck? As I scrumble, as I crumble, creaky over here. Get the unicorns out. We'll pull a card for today. Okay, we got 2 cards. Magic. The magic is there. Make a wish, believe in miracles. Magic is all around us. Look at that. Know there's magic. Even though there's chaos, there's still magic. And trust. Leap into the unknown. Have faith. Don't overthink things. Trust. Come into the heart and trust because the magic is there. There you go. Have a blessed one. And we will talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.